serving the skin because he's kind of known as a tyrant, right?
Right, that's like right along the lines of the spoiler. Hi everyone, from dramas to webtoons to novels, explore Korea's story with us. This is Who Reads Story. My name is An Sung-jin. I'm a news reporter and we have Andrea back with us. It's great to have you again, Andrea.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. What we are going to talk about today?
Yes, good question. So now what we are going to be talking about today is we are going to be talking about this Korean drama that has been gaining a lot of global attention across the world, and the title is Bon Appétit, Your Majesty.
Oh, that sounds delicious, right?
Right. And I feel like the title Bon Appétit, Your Majesty already kind of hints at how it's going to be looking like, because you have Your Majesty, which is maybe hinting at a bit more of an historical background, and you have Bon Appetit, which might be related to food, as you just mentioned. Right. So this drama has been released on Netflix, and after it was released, it has ranked top 10 in 73 countries. To the actual layout of the drama itself, now this is based on a web novel with the same title of The Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. And if we do want to do a rundown first of the story itself, could you do that for us, please?
Yes, so like as in the drama, we have our chef.
Right.
And this chef is Yeon Ji-young. And she's a modern French chef that she was reading like these ancient texts that I'm going to try to pronounce it correctly.
Yes.
The Mangunrok.
Yes, Mangunrok.
And suddenly when she was reading she kind of transported herself like to Joseon Dynasty.
Right.
Well, she becomes the royal chef, and then kind of the adventures of her like in Joseon Dynasty start. But the interesting thing also is that she is not the chef of any king.
Right.
It's like a really special king that in this case, like for the drama, is like King Lee Hyun. And she is not just cooking, but somehow she is kind of putting her life online all the time when she's just like kind of serving the skin, because he's kind of known as a tyrant, right?
Right, that's like right along the lines of the spoiler. So just as you mentioned, we have our chef Yeon Ji-young, who is a modern French chef, and as you just mentioned, she suddenly becomes transported to the Joseon Dynasty, and it's all about that chemistry and the dynamic with this tyrant, Lee-hun, who shows up as kind of, part of the main character as well.
Well, so who was like the real person?
Right, so for a lot of Koreans, Yeon Sang-gun is kind of the king that you end up inevitably knowing during history class, because he was very well known for not only his love of arts is another aspect that he had, but he was very ruthless. He was a ruthless tyrant, and apart from that, he had been indulging in, in pleasure with his concubines while neglecting people's suffering. So that's why he's been, recognized as a tyrant who hasn't really taken care of the people, of his own people. And that's why this drama, the character Lee-hun, is based off of that historical time period with Yeon Sang-gun, and it really reimagines through that entire historical period and kind of recreates it, or reimagines this through the fictional monarch, which is why we have our character Lee-hun based on Yeon Sang-gun.
So I think that it's really interesting. So if we just go like a little deeper on like her character,
right?
So I think that it's interesting because when we see her, we are seeing a strong woman. And then kind of the characteristics that she has like regarding her personality is that she had like someone with a strong personality that really loves what she does.
Right, very
so
passionate.
It's like she's really into cooking. She enjoys when she's doing it, and you can see that she's passionate, like when she is just like kind of performing while cooking.
Right.
Like we have like with this like first part, like with this scene, that when she just cooks like the bibimbap, she uses like the Gochujang packet like for the airplane meal. So it's like, okay, she just have, I don't know, like the perfect sauce. For cooking. And then that one was like funny. But also she just add like poached egg and like brown butter, and then it makes it unique. So it's like nice, and you got hungry.
Right. It's interesting that she brought in the red chili paste, because for Koreans, it's really obvious. It's like a staple. Whenever you get on a plane, the in-flight meal normally has that tube paste of red chili, which is why I feel like putting that scene or putting that moment in there kind of reflected, what Koreans would normally go through. Obviously, when I was watching it, I got really hungry, and I'm sure that was for you as well, Andrea.
Yes, I think like the visuals, like in the whole drama, they are really good.
Right.
And then like when you are seeing just these scenes when she's cooking, and kind of like you just zoom.
Right.
And then you see, okay, she's cutting like
Right.
these ingredients, and then she's putting it inside the pot.
Right.
And then like how like all this magic of cooking just translate in a dish.
Right.
So all of this, I think, is like really nice. I remember that apart like from this visual, like we can just I don't know, mention like some food, like Korean food. I remember about like the Korean style macarons,
Right.
the Doenjang pasta, I think is how you say. I'm not sure.
Yes, the soybean paste pasta.
Yeah,
Yes.
the tonne pancakes,
Yes.
the queen onion
tonne
pancakes,
yep.
and the steak. Yeah, the steak was like
Of course.
also really good. And I think that like you can see that they look familiar, and I don't know, like with this kind of dramas, you also got the sensation that maybe you can just watch the scene again and try to cook the dish.
Right. And it also reflected the reality as well. And surprisingly, you know, the original web novel that we talked about, which is what the drama is based off of, he also, like the original content creator, also, you know, based off their content on like historical cookbooks, which is why it also adds another aspect to it. And actually something interesting about the historical cookbook is, for example, you know, you think that for Koreans, red chili is such a staple, as we just mentioned, like Gochujang, red chili paste is something that Koreans live by. But surprisingly, based on the historical cookbook back then in the Joseon dynasty, red chili did not exist.
Oh.
But surprisingly, in contrary, we had other ingredients actually exist back in that era, such as almonds, we had butter, sugar, caviar, and those ingredients already existed back then, which is interesting to see because you'd think that red chili is such an important ingredient. And now that we've talked about the good part, we've talked about the food and the flattering, you know, visual effects. Now we should talk about more of the background itself, how the story is laid out. Now, as we've talked about it in the beginning, and as you know, this drama itself is kind of like a time slip genre, right?
Yeah.
We have the main character, Yeon Ji-young, the chef, kind of time travel back into the Joseon dynasty. I think it's interesting because, as you just mentioned, obviously there are fictional elements to it. So, you know, not the entire storyline would be based on true story, or not the entire plot or the background or any of those, you know, smaller elements would be all based on true history, but at the same time, you kind of get the general vibe of it. You know, even if you don't know about Korean history in general, you get a hint of what it was like, even through this drama as well. You know, when Yeon Ji-young, the chef, kind of transports to the Joseon dynasty, obviously she's a French chef, so, you know, the terminology that she uses with the people in the kitchen back in the Joseon dynasty obviously conflict because you have, you know, you're going back and forth with two different eras, and that's an interesting part for me to watch as well. For example, you know, in linguistically, when we look at it, the phrase or the word that she uses is haute cuisine, which means like high cuisine or like Michelin star level, high quality food. But, you know, Koreans, when they listen to it, they're like, what does it mean? It almost sounds like, 어떡하지? Like haute cuisine? It kind of has that resemblance to it. And even, you know, a lot of the words are unfamiliar for these people. You use the word like butter, pasta, restaurant, which none of the Koreans were obviously familiar with back then because those are all English words, not Korean
westernized
words.
or just like kind of taken from other languages.
Right. So it's interesting as much as we see, you know, because it's a time slip drama, we see how, you know, linguistic aspects or cultural aspects are different in how, you know, the character or the chef herself kind of manages to explain it and kind of transfers through. Yeah. Which is why, you know, it's interesting to see that aspect as well. Now, as we head towards dinner time here in Korea, I feel like that's all we have for our episode today on Bon Appétit, Your Majesty. Obviously, Andrea, it's great to have you again. Thanks for being with us. And that's all we have for our episode today. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. That's all we have for today, and see you next week.
See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.